got fired.
Who?
Your guy.
No way Julian got fired.
I'm telling you right now that Julian and Kirk got fired.
Mueller.
Yep, as of right now, I 2 weeks in a row we have breaking news on the show.
Wow.
Legitimately a minute and a half ago. Yeah. The Canadians have fired their bench boss. Instant reaction from you fellas, live on the show.
Wow, that's pretty good. I got to gather my thoughts. Pete?
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm just seeing it now. Fired Claude Julien and Mueller, and that's what after going on a hot start to the season and then going 2-4-2 over their past 8 and losing 3 times. I don't care if it's after regulation in the most recent one, 3 times that you lose to the Ottawa Senators. That's tough. That's tough to stomach when you have high aspirations, when you have the depth and the goaltending that you're paying top dollar for with Price, and that your depth is so strong, maybe the strongest in the entire division, the North. So hopefully it gets better goaltending, whoever they bring in. Hopefully the penalty kill improves. Those have been some of the main areas of weakness for Montreal, which is surprising, right? Like in a Julien system, you wouldn't have expected that turn of events. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty surprising that they made this move, but when you look at what has transpired over the past 2 weeks, that is the reasoning for it, no doubt. The losses to Ottawa are kind of inexcusable, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. And it's definitely the special teams, right? If you follow this team over the past couple of years, they've been one of the better teams in terms of 5-on-5. They create chances. They own the play. Power play has been an issue now for years, and that's supposed to be, Kirk Muller's job. So I get it. I mean, it seemed like there was, in the bubble when Julian was away from this team, that Mueller kind of found a way with the team. He made a couple line changes, right? It was Drouin, I noticed, was on the third, fourth line. And then Mueller, the first change he made was like, okay, listen, Drouin, you're going to play with Suzuki. And it worked. And it was a connection that was working, and the power play seemed to be going. But again, this year, power plays, penalties, like nobody's taking more penalties than the Habs. I feel like every game this team is like 5 or 6 penalties. They're always killing penalties. I'm still shocked, but my big takeaway from this, Pete, is Marc Bergevin. This guy's not messing around. Like he's brought in players. He brought in the backup for Price. He brings in Anderson and Toffoli. Those guys are playing well. He's there. You mentioned the depth. And I think expectations are just super high. So I'm shocked. I am a little shocked. I thought that they would play it out. I know there's been some rumblings about Julian losing his job, but there's always those rumblings. So I just don't want to go back into the whole coaching well of, okay, Julian's had a couple times, Terrian's had a couple times. Like who's next? Guy Carbonneau? Like I just don't want to see that. I'd like some new blood in there. But yeah, that's a shocking move. I'm a little taken back by it. All right. Blues and
Kings. And I mean, it's just like, look at all the moves that Bergevin has made. You were talking about earlier, I think off the air, like, should they have taken Brady Tkachuk? Should they have done this? Should they have, I mean, obviously, like, you have to give him an A+ so far for the Josh Anderson thing, even though it seemed like they overspent to get him, overpaid to keep him for so long, for the long term at the money. It was just, you were wondering about that, but at the same time, they got a good discount on Toffoli, and he's been, their best forward so far from a point production standpoint. But you look back at the history, Bergevin, you still have one of the worst trades, like with the Sergachev trade and stuff like that. And it's just kind of like a roller coaster through the years. First, they were looking good. They made the conference final. Then they came down for a few years. Then you were wondering, like, is this the end of the road for him? But now it's been an uptick again. They were really good in the playoffs last year, seemed to be trending up in the right direction to start this year, but now it's coming back down once again. So that's, I guess, what you ask yourself, how long is the Bergevin tenure going to be? I mean, it's been a question and a debate for many years now. So now another coach is gone, so it's who's next? I don't know. We'll see if they turn it around. It's the roster that Bergevin built, right? Over the course of many, many years, some bad trades, some good trades, some bad signings and good signings. So they're certainly giving him a long leash to work with, to build this whole experiment.
And I believe when they fired Therrien, I was never a big Therrien fan. I really wanted him gone. But I believe when they let him go, they were doing well. It's just Julian became available, and then, they made that switch, which, I totally get it. I know Bergevin takes a lot of heat, and we'll move on here from the Habs in a second, but I've liked a lot of what he's done. I mean, when he made that Subban trade, I was taken back. I remember you and I chatted about it. I was taken back, but it turns out that deal may be okay. I mean, it remains to be seen how Weber's going to fall off, if he is going to fall off towards the latter part of his career. Getting up there now, I believe he's 36, but the Danault, like, he's good at finding little pieces. Like, he traded Weiss and Fleischman for Danault. The Suzuki return was decent, right? Pacioretty, there was, everybody knew that Pacioretty wanted out of town, and they had to deal him just to get, a pick, and, Tatar thrown in there as well. But it does seem like Julian's lost the room a little bit. Tatar was their leading goal scorer last year. He was a healthy scratch against the Leafs just the other day. He's been playing third line, fourth line the other night. He didn't even play the final 8 minutes against the Sens. Lekkonen's been in and out of the lineup as well. Paul Byron, who is, wears a letter, where is an A, and he was on waivers last week. So yeah, I guess some changes certainly needed to be made, and Bergevin not messing around. But I agree with you. I do not like that Sergachev-Duren deal. That one's going to bite him in the butt.